One common frustration of machine quilting with rulers on a sewing machine is not having the correct ruler for your machine. Hi, I'm Angela Walters from Quilting is My Therapy, and if you've ever tried quilting with rulers on a low shank sewing machine, you might know exactly what I'm talking about. Using a ruler that's too high for your machine can end up running into the shank and not let you make those beautiful quilting designs. The shank is just the metal rod to which the presser foot is attached. And a low shank sewing machine only has about a 1/2 inch clearance between the needle bed and the screw that holds on your foot. So lower shank sewing machines aren't really compatible with thicker machine quilting rulers, although there are a few workarounds. Well, if you've ever struggled with machine quilting with rulers on your low shank sewing machine, I've got some exciting news. I've teamed up with Creative Grids to remake my 3 most popular machine quilting rulers compatible with low shank machines. Shelly, Squiggy, and Taj are all such versatile rulers, but up until now, if you've had a low shank sewing machine, you haven't been able to take advantage of their amazingness. These low shank rulers still have the same features and benefits as my other machine quilting rulers, including high quality acrylic, just in a thinner size, Creative Grids grip to help it stay in place and not shift while you're quilting, and plenty of reference lines in black and white so that you can see them no matter what color fabric you're working on. Taj is a versatile ruler that packs a lot of different design options in one compact ruler. Taj gives you the option to quilt from the inside or the outside. Quilt along the cutout portion of Taj to create a whole host of designs, such as this all-over meander. Simply quilt around the inside, leave the ruler in place and travel along the previously quilted line about 1 inch or so, then reposition your ruler and repeat. Since you're working from the inside of the ruler, you'll always be able to see where your next shape will go. Or quilt the leafy shapes in a row to create a design perfect for thinner borders. Use the reference lines on the ruler as a guide to space out your leaves consistently. This is a great way to frame or highlight an element of your quilt that you want to show off. Plus, turning the corner of your border is as easy as switching the direction of your ruler. You can also use Taj to give your quilting a little bit more of a custom look by creating mini motifs. Quilt along the inside, pivot the ruler and repeat, quilting those shapes in all different directions so that they meet in the center. This is a great way to draw attention to a certain area, such as the center of your quilt block. There's more than just one side to this ruler. Quilt along the outside of Taj to create a gorgeous border design, quickly and easily. Position the ruler along the edge of your area, quilt along the outside of the ruler until you reach the edge of the border. Leaving the needle in place, reposition the ruler, and continue. These beautiful, pointy, curvy arcs are going to look so great on your quilt. So if giving your quilting a curvy, pointy look is your goal, then Taj is the ruler for you. The Squiggy ruler may look a little funny, but it's serious about helping you quilt serpentine lines in your 2 and 3 inch borders. Starting from one edge of your border, position the ruler so that the reference lines are straight on the edge. This will help make sure your serpentine lines fill your area perfectly. Quilt along the curve of the ruler and stop once you get to the other side of the border to create your first serpentine line. Travel along the edge of the border for just a bit, about 1/4 or 1/2 inch, then reposition the ruler, again making sure the reference lines are lined up with the edge, then quilt back to the first side. Then repeat, traveling along the edge, repositioning, and quilting. The beauty of Squiggy is that you can quilt your serpentine lines in any direction, top or bottom, left or right. You can also easily move right into your next border for some efficient quilting. Use Squiggy's inner curve to quilt serpentine lines in 2 inch borders the same way, using the reference lines as a guide and quilting from side to side. Although I designed Squiggy to make serpentine lines, you can also use Squiggy to create other shapes, such as wavy lines. Quilt along the curve from needle stop to needle stop, reposition and continue to make beautiful repeating waves. Try echoing them, offsetting them, or filling it in as an all-over design on your quilts. If you find serpentine lines difficult to quilt, or you want a fun, wavy design for your quilts, Squiggy will be the perfect ruler for you. Use the Shelly rulers to quickly and easily make clamshells and other curved designs. Needle stops on both sides make repositioning the ruler a breeze, while reference lines will help ensure that your clamshells stay straight on the quilt. To quilt a clamshell design, simply quilt a row of curves along the edge of your defined area. I'm using the convex curve of the Shelly ruler, but the concave side of the ruler makes the same size curve. This means that you can quilt your curves in any direction without switching the sides of your foot. Once the first row is quilted, you can add more detail to the design by using the concave side of the ruler to quilt arcs that are upside down and offset from the first row. Again, the reference lines on the ruler will help make sure that your arcs stay centered. Since the curve is the same on both sides of the ruler, I can quilt upside down arcs without working from the back of the foot or turning the quilt around. This is going to help make quilting much more efficient and fun. Shelly's reference lines make quilting the arcs a breeze, but you can also use them for echoing. Line up the curved reference lines with a previously quilted arc to create echoes. Add several echoes to your arcs to create a swag border design, fill in the unquilted areas, or draw attention to your beautiful clamshells. Use the straight side of Shelly to travel along the edge of the area to get to the next row of arcs. To create clamshells, quilt another row of arcs on top of the first row, except quilt them offset so that they create that clamshell effect. Clamshells can make pretty border designs as well. After you quilt the first row of clamshells, quilt a second row on top of the first one, except offset them so that they have a staggered look. Line up the center reference line with the point where the first set of arcs meet to ensure that your second row is placed just right. Such a pretty and ornate way to quilt curves in the borders of your quilt. Or combine both sides to create circles. Quilt one arc from reference line to reference line, flip the ruler over to the other side, and finish your circle. Quilt one by itself, or quickly quilt a row of circles by quilting the tops of several, and then quilting the bottoms. Leave them as is, or fill in with other free motion quilting designs. So just like that, you can create beautiful designs with these low shank rulers. For more information about them, as well as where to find them, check out the description box below. Happy quilting!